Hello, we're the Bloodthirsty Puppets. I am Thirsty and I shall be leading you on this wonderful adventure. Few little rules for chat before we get started. Don't be a tool about someone's race, don't be a tool about someone's gender. Just don't ever be a tool. Don't you dare.
Or screwdriver.
You heard him. Right, so today, once again, we shall be enjoying the dulcet tones of me, leading you through the wonderful world of Salt and Thirst in our nuked setting, in our spiced system. And we shall be enjoying the wonderful adventures of our Salt Gypsy friends and their latest hopeless addict tag-along. On their quest for gubbins and golden syrup.
Sorry, that's me.
Right, so, before we get going, maybe we should introduce ourselves. Who we're playing. So, who wants to start? Kerone, you start. You're below me. There.
Okay. Hello, I'm Kerone, and I will be playing Lamb. Just had to check. And yeah, he does stuff. He lives the dream every day. Love it.
Wonderful. Right, Spanners.
Hello, I am Spanners. I am playing Morgan, and she is a Salt Gypsy. She is 18. She thought she was a feminist, but apparently not, because she appears last time to have sold her brethren off for some extra syrup.
Right, Mr. Skag.
Yeah, playing Aiden, who needs his syrup now. So that was a good call to actually get rid of those pesky people to actually get more syrup.
Yeah, let's not dwell on the morality of that. Right, so for those of you who may have forgotten or maybe decided to tune into part 3 without seeing the rest, our intrepid little crew here have just marched out of the Wester stronghold. They ransacked a house and collapsed it upon Lamb's head. Miraculously fixed it once again. They were then met by a wonderful group of people whose accents weren't so hard to understand, by the names of Mark, Jeff, Bill, Haley, and Steph, who took them and their tag-alongs, Cassie and Anne, off to their little enclosed settlement. At which point, a middle-aged lady of middling height and dark hair said something along the lines of, "Not more of them? Where did this lot come from?" And that is exactly where we are right now. So, not another lot. Where did this lot come from?
Okay, so are we all going? Were we all led in together?
Yeah, you were led in. You were led in all holding hands with the people you just met, because apparently it's just something they like to do for safety, and maybe they like to feel close with each other. Who knows? Maybe they're just lovely, wonderful, loving people.
Well, Aiden hold his own hand.
I recall. I don't know exactly how they interpreted that, but I imagine they were a little offended.
Right then, I guess because I've gone in with Mark, I'm going to address this lady. It's very lovely. So, what's your name?
I'm Emil.
Right. And we were told that you were the lady to talk to about maybe trading.
Oh, yeah, I'm the boss around here. What you got to trade?
And I'm going to kind of point over my shoulder a little bit. You know, well, they might not be aware, but these ladies, they come from the big ship on the land, with the walls and the weird creatures outside.
You're not not from round here, are you?
No, lovely. We're from the sea. We're traders, and you know, we don't come on land. But we needed a few things for the ship.
If you're traders, what did you trade for them?
Syrup. That's what we need. We need a bucket load of syrup.
You need syrup. You need syrup. Is that it?
That's,
Is that all you want for these?
No.
I don't know what they want, but I want syrup.
Yeah, he wants syrup.
Mhm.
We want a bit more than that.
We need some metal and some maybe oil. He maybe needs a little bit of a fix. He found this tin of something that you were maybe holding, and he's tasted it now, and that's it. It's gone to his head. But the ladies that they came, we didn't exactly trade for them. They sort of they came with their own free will, I guess.
So they wanted us to save them from the Westers. They wanted to be
Not
free.
exactly. No. I think they just wanted some adventure, really.
And you thought the best adventure you could take them on was to bring them here and sell them to Mark.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, all's fair in love and war.
Well, I don't know what you think you've heard, but we don't buy people.
I see, but they're a lot by your people.
Well, yeah, they're horrible slaving bastards.
Yeah,
If you want to release these women to us, that's fine.
We can kind of arrange that too. So let's say it's not a sale, but a release with a finder's fee.
I see. So we were thinking that everyone on the land sort of used people as commodities, really.
Well, no, we trade for food and medical supplies and whatever we need. We don't buy people. We've got enough of them. You know, you can see, and she waves her hands at the fields outside the fence. Like, we've got plenty of food, lots of people to tend the fields.
Right then. Or could we perhaps trade for some information?
Oh. What do you want to trade for the information?
Well, so this metal that we were talking about, we have some information about what what did you call them? Thieving bastards.
Yeah, Westers.
Right. So yeah, they maybe have got a bit of a plot going on that we could explain to you in return for maybe a bit of a reward, maybe some syrup.
A plot. You need to come on in. Yeah, she just turns around, beckons you in. If you don't want to follow, you can stand outside like a numpty. That's up to you.
Aiden will walk in.
I'll follow.
Probably interested if there is syrup in there.
Okay. Lamb and Morgan take any kind of intellecty based thing you can, knowledge or just straight intellect. If it's up to you to understand what's going on inside.
They're both some pretty crap. So.
One knowledge. Oh shit.
I know nothing.
Apparently neither do I. I might do a really early legendary point on that.
Okay.
Because I just rolled a 1.
Well, 1 is fine. 1 isn't that bad. 11 is a botch. You know. Not knowing is fine, you know.
That's better.
Okay.
Because I got a 17.
Okay. Yeah, you got a 17. What did Lamb get?
Lamb rolled a 1 and added his almighty 1 to that one.
Okay, so you go inside. It's a room. There are people in it. You can definitely tell they're people because they've got those things on top of their shoulders, and those things that they stand on.
And Lamb
They're
seems very
people.
surprised about it.
Yeah, Aiden, you walk in and you recognise some of the people in here. They appear to be people who were in raiding parties that hadn't come back. From the Westers. And you can clearly see over there. There's what was his name? Raiden. There's Raiden and Maiden and Braden and Jaden and Hayden and Braden. 2. Because they've only got about 7 names. They recycled them. So when these guys didn't come back, they just named other people them same things. You know these guys.
Yeah, they found a better place. Maybe it's because they got better syrup. Maybe.
Maybe they do look definitely sort of fatter and happier. Some of them are walking hand in hand with with lovely ladies or lovely young men, as is their wont.
So Aiden will look at Raiden or whomever he know best of them and smile and kind of make I know what you've been doing, but totally not. But he thinks so.
Okay, yeah. You managed to catch Raiden's eyes, and you're like, yeah, I know what you're up to. And Raiden looks at you like, yeah, okay, whatever, yeah. And he sort of he shades his eyes and walks away quickly. He's not necessarily proud of what he's done. But yeah, these people don't seem to be under any duress to stay here or anything. They, as far as you can tell, they're just wandering around like doing chores. One of them sweeping the floor. Some of them are just walking around with partners. Some are cooking. You're not sure if you're not really sure if this is a sort of a servant's jobby thing or just they're working along with everyone else as farmers. But hey, so there you've walked in like, oh, those are Westers. This is weird. And yeah, the lady and Emil keeps walking down, and she sits at a table, and she waves someone over, and they bring over a big urn of something, and some like metal cups. They lay them on the table, and they start pouring this sort of greyish brown liquid from this urn. It has a little tap on the bottom, but it seems to have rusted shut. And they pour this liquid into the cups, and this liquid is steaming. It looks very hot. It looks quite inviting. It smells quite pleasant as well. And she turns to you, Aiden, and goes, "I understand you want syrup in this."
Mm-hmm.
And she gestures over to Raiden, who has snuck away into the storeroom at the side, and he comes out with a very small, delicate, dainty-looking tin, and you recognise the green label around the outside. It's a similar sort of construction, but a lot smaller. And she just gets a spoon, puts the handle of it in, points the top off. And spoons, 2 big, heaping, like delicious, wonderful-looking spoons of deep golden joy into this.
Oh, you're talking my language now.
And hands it to you, and turns to the other. Do you want any? What do you want in your tea?
I've not tried that. What's traditional?
Well, we've got sugar. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Our new lad Braden, he had some sweetener, something like that. It was a little pot or something. And sometimes we put sugar beet in it.
Or you go with syrup. That's
we heard this chap liked syrup. That's an option. Honey as well.
I think I'll go for some honey. I don't want to try that syrup. It's sent him a bit funny.
Yeah, it can do that. You leave it too long, it goes a bit... Yeah. But anyway, yeah, she sends the chap off and he comes back with a big jar, you know, with, you know, beware written on it. You know, look out. You know, it's got like, you know, a big angry bee, like very crudely drawn on. I believe the way of expressing it kind of looks like a really silly kid, really like unintelligent child with a crayon has just daubed an angry bee on this, like with a fist full of black wax. It doesn't look in any way artisanal, but yeah. You know, it pulls it out, and it's, you know, it's unfiltered honey, so it's got bits and pieces in it, but it tastes fine. You know, they offer you a little tasting spoon of it. Yeah. Do you accept the tasting spoon of honey?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, yeah, it's... You just slip it in your mouth. It's slightly waxy. It's a bit weird. It tastes sweeter than just about anything else you've ever experienced, apart from possibly that S&M you ate. It tastes great. It really does. You're not so sure about the texture, but it tastes good. And yeah, they stir a spoon of this into your greyish brown liquid. I said, Lamb, what about you? You want anything in, you know?
Oh, just a wee bit of sugar, please.
Oh, picky are you? And you know, they go to the back and they pull it, it looks like a biscuit tin, you know, a metal tin, very tightly sealed. They go in the back and they pull out a tiny little like hotel pack of sugar. Because let's face it, refined sugar is not going to turn up in a nuclear wasteland. So they rip it open very delicately, and, like, you know, flick it, you know, cajole it into falling out into this tea. And there you are. You now all have sweetened tea. Enjoy.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, some better than others, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Emile, you notice, doesn't have anything in her tea. She just drinks it with milk. You know, so this hot, milky tea that she's given you all, she doesn't bother sweetening it. She just drinks tea.
I don't suppose you've got any paper and a pencil.
Whatever for.
Just want to do a bit of a sketch.
All right. And have you got anything to trade for for paper and a pencil?
I've got 76 in copper coins.
Well, that's wonderful for you. What would we want with copper coins?
No, chuck them in the air, or...
At this point, one of the chaps runs. It's a fellow you haven't seen before. You know, he was milling around somewhere. He comes up and he goes, "I want those. Can we? Yeah, we could do that." And he hands you like a stick of charcoal and like an old, like slightly soggy piece of cardboard that's been dried out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get the impression that he just like draws on this with charcoal and then like rubs it off somehow, or like, you know, cleans it off with a damp cloth and leaves it to dry. You're not entirely sure how that works, but it seems to. You know, so he hands you this like slightly greyish, gritty cardboard and a piece of charcoal. Like, is that good?
Hand him the coins.
Excellent. And you see him taking it back, and he pulls out of his pocket what looks like a shotgun shell, and he starts pushing them in. It's just the smaller coins. He starts pushing them into the shotgun shell. He's like, "Oh, that'll be fucking excellent." And he vanishes off back into the little this little room. It seems to have a lot of tools in the other corner of this porter cabin building. But yeah, you have a sketch pad basically.
Yeah.
So, you know. So exactly what is it we can do for you?
Well, we were involved in a bit of trading, Although our trade was a bit odd, in as much as we rather agreed to come over here and create a distraction, mainly because, well, they told us you were bad, and yet you go around holding hands, and you have this sweet stuff, and you don't have slaves.
Why would we have slaves? Terrible idea.
You see, they apart from the weird glowing things, they were the first people we met.
How terribly unfortunate. I'm so sorry for you.
I guess our map reading skills weren't that clever. So they've asked us to maybe draw some of you people out into the field, and I'm definitely not reading my notes at dusk. Well, I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do, but I can't imagine it's gonna be that nice. So maybe we could help you, you know.
So what you're telling me is that you're here as a distraction while the Westers come to attack us?
Not exactly. They asked us to kind of draw a few away. Not as a distraction, but more as a bait.
So you're telling me that your plan has gone wrong, and you're currently sitting here talking to me about it?
I don't think it's gone wrong. I just don't think we were given the information.
So when it comes down to it, at this point she swings a sort of pointed look at Aiden, who is sitting there dressed as a Wester, having lived with the Westers, smelling like a Wester, which is quite a particular smell. So you're telling me you're not with them? Or maybe even him?
You know, I don't think he's part of them. You know, he takes their stuff, and he's got some particularly shiny things in his pocket. There's a thing with fruit on it, I believe. Here, Aiden, show the lady that thing that you were looking at.
I'm not gonna show anyone my fruity syrup.
Not your syrup. The thing you didn't want to show Kerone. That shiny thing with the fruit on it. We've been flash for a little bit, then you put it in your pocket.
Well, I do have some fancy bottoms, and I have some really nice threads, and I do find it's interesting to fix medicine, so I have some stim, some more.
Drugs, eh? I mean, we can definitely trade for those. I mean, those could be quite useful.
Yeah, I've been known to help people out.
Well, as I say, I mean, the Westers haven't attacked yet, but if we had some pharmaceuticals on hand, it would definitely sort us out. I mean, not since we used to scavenge at the old hospitals did we have anything like that. I mean, if you were willing to trade that, we could probably see to you having the rest of that little tin. And
well,
maybe
that one was pretty small, though.
Well, that would be more of a gratuity on top of helping your friends here. And of course, we'd forget about where you'd come here from.
Well, you're holding hands like you're liking each other, so I think that I'm pretty much a person that would be fitting in right here, no matter what. I mean, and Raiden is kind of jumping sailing boats So, yeah, that's no problem.
So yeah, you'll right then. If you can just hand those over, we can see what we can do for your friends here, and maybe we can find a place here for you when all this is sorted out.
I believe that they wanted some metal and oil.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Oh, I suppose the Westers told you they knew where there was a garage, did they?
No, they said that you might have it, so we can ask you. But if you have a garage, that's good.
This isn't the first time the Westers have sent people our way looking for a garage. You see, there's a...
Well, now you have said something that we didn't know, so we just want the metal and the oil, or they do. I want syrup, so...
Okay, well, we definitely saw that. And once again, she snaps her fingers, and it's not Raiden this time. It's someone you haven't seen before. It's a sort of a young child, probably about 11 or 12, young girl, comes out. You know, Emil's like, "Get the bloody syrup! What the hell are you doing? You know, you're showing us all up." And the child runs off, comes back with the tin of syrup, looking a little more embarrassed. Puts it on the table. It's like, well, that's yours. I mean, you know, as a show of good faith, we'll hand it over before you give us the medicine. So can we have those now?
Well, I don't see any metal or oil that they wanted, so...
Well, we're not going to go and get it for you. We're going to tell you where it is.
So it's not...
We're obviously still going to be here. It's not like we're running off anywhere.
So it's not here, is it?
No, we're going to tell you where it is. And we might even help you get it, but we'll help you haul it around. Sure, certainly.
And it's not on your lands?
It's between our lands and those the Westors hold. You know, it's in a contested territory.
Let's say I could part for one stim to get the information and have someone accompany us there, and maybe if everything seems okay, we will give you another stim.
I'm really quite keen on getting my hands on the morphine, you see.
Could I do a
Okay,
perception?
if we say that you can get the morphine when we do get to the point.
That's agreeable. So one stim now, morphine, and other stim when we get to the point.
I'll keep one stim then.
Okay, yeah. We could. I suppose, it's not costing us anything. Might as well. I mean, yeah. Go for
Can I
it.
do a
If you want.
perception?
What are you trying to look at? But okay.
I'm trying to see if he's telling the truth.
You're trying to see if Emil is telling the truth.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And I've scored 13.
You scored 13. Yeah, Emil seems to genuinely want medical supplies. You don't sense any guile, particularly in her desire to have medical supplies for her people when you've just told them they're going to be attacked. Yeah, I mean, she seems entirely sort of open and genuine at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And the same went for her garage as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Aiden didn't hear that one, but Morgan was definitely told there was a garage nearby that the Westors would help them find if they helped with this raid. So.
No, so Aiden kind of looks at the other two. Is that maybe something you would like?
I think so. I don't see any reason not to trust these people. And you'll take care of the ladies.
Well, we'll ask them if they want to stay.
Right then. Well, everybody looks happy here.
For the record, Cassie does not look particularly happy. You've literally just walked her out of her father's encampment with promises of adventure and freedom, and basically sold her down the river to her worst enemies in a place she swore she would never go. But hey, she is looking around quite appreciatively at the healthy young fellows wandering around,
Exactly.
Holding hands.
yeah. And Anne, I believe Anne has a horribly wounded leg, but Anne is also sitting there, looking around rather appreciatively at the large weapons and the big burly people holding them. As you recall, she's a bit of a size queen. She's all about the big. The people here, as I said, are larger and fatter and healthier, and just generally bigger. So yeah, they don't necessarily look very pleased at the idea of having been sent off to live with their worst enemies, but their worst enemies don't appear to be as bad as they were told. So they might make it through. Who knows? But,
I can live with that.
The minute Emil says, fair enough, we'll look after the girls, Anna's like, yes, definitely, and runs off. She runs straight off to the armory where the bloke who bought the pennies from you left to. She's like, ooh! Cassie goes and gets something to eat. She's a girl with priorities. You can't fault that. So yeah.
Nice.
So as it stands at the moment, you are getting in exchange for medical supplies, you're getting someone to take you to this garage. At which point you will pay them and they'll leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't want to see if you can trade anything else. These people seem incredibly mercantile and quite pleasant.
Don't think we've got anything else.
Do you not have any S&Ms left?
No.
Oh,
No, the guards ate them all.
Oh,
No, the
the
guards.
guards ate them all, didn't they? You haven't got any other random assorted dross. You've got screwdrivers and tools and things.
I've got screwdrivers, but I think I might need those. We've got 2 flares, but we don't really want to use those until we get back.
The lamb's got a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, and Aiden has a piece of crap boomstick.
Yeah, my
According to my
boomstick. Not gonna give away my boomstick, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But wait, didn't I have like a electric screwdriver that I found in a box, brand new, in the house?
I don't recall. Maybe. Screw it. Put it down. I don't remember. It's my fault for not reviewing the show notes well enough. You can have an electric screwdriver if you really want.
No, but I'll say that it's a screwdriver that he will put on the table.
Oh, that's right. We have 2 flat-headed screwdrivers and 1 Phillips head with a slightly broken handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was yours. The other one I found in the house, I think. So he takes that one out and put it on the table and looks to see her expression.
She looks at it, it's just like, it's a screwdriver. I mean, it's a nice screwdriver, but what do you want for it?
Anything that you could have any sort of use for, interest in?
I mean, we're always on the lookout for old things. They tend to be a lot better than what we can clap together, but it's just a screwdriver. She waves someone over. A bloke comes over from the little tools and armory section, and he has a quick look at it, and he's just like, "Ooh, it's good nick. What's that?" and he picks it up and he sort of presses it against the table, and a little light comes on inside it. He's like, "Huh, what's that?"
Yeah, with Aiden's pretty good tech use, he would probably point him in the right direction. Yeah, you press over there. You'll see.
Yeah. The guy fiddles with it for a bit. Basically, the battery light is coming on periodically. Huh. Okay. Why not? So yeah, it's pretty good. You know, I'll give you what do we need? What do you want? What do you want for it?
If you do have some shells, maybe, to like a good boomstick, and he holds it up really happy.
Okay. Hand it over. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can find.
Yeah, I'll go. And he stands up, really happy.
Yeah, you two head off to the arm. Basically, he just wants to look at like what he's gonna try and fit, you know. Yeah, they eventually they find like eventually they find kind of like a shaped charge that they wrap in like Hessian bag, and they shove a bunch of like rusted old bits of nails and stuff in front of the charge.
Shootable IED. That's nice.
Exactly. Well, essentially, it will work a little bit like it will work like a blunderbuss charge. You know, it's
Hail of Nails.
Yeah, it's a hail of
The
nails.
new song.
It's a slightly less technologically advanced version of what you'd been loading this thing with anyway. You know, they threw it together because they were getting a nice screwdriver out of it.
Yeah, it will probably him the battle nails, but hail
do you
of
want
nails.
to give me a barter check?
Ja, man. And it is 13.
Okay. The guy says that and he starts, spieling on about the cost of materials and like the amount he's giving you, and
It's just
the screwdriver.
nail.
He starts like talking the screwdriver down a bit. He's like, it's good, but he points to a rack of other screwdrivers. Like yours is clearly still the best one they'll have, but like they've got a lot of them. And in the end, he gives you he gives you 3 of these big charges. You lucky bastard. He equaled your roll, and then I went like, I'll only give you D4 minus 1, and he gave you 4. So it's like, damn, you get 3.
The normal one is D8 plus.
Yeah. The damage is all the same. You just get another 3 shells.
Nice.
Yeah, with the exception of how they look, they're exactly like your normal shells. They're not shoddier in any noticeable sense. But anyway, you guys are doing that. The other 2, you're still sitting at a table with a meal, drinking tea. You're going to want to find this little trove of tech, aren't you?
Well, if possible, yeah, that would be fantastic.
Well, I need to be entirely honest with you. I mean, I don't imagine the Westors gave you so much. There's a reason why no one's raided this place so far. It's infested.
Ah.
I mean, we'll give you assistance to find it. We'll give you a fellow to find it. He might even help you if you talk to him nicely. If you give him something, maybe he might help you clear it out a bit. But it's going to be a case of taking what you can get and running with it.
Sorry, love, but infested with what?
We're not really sure. I mean, the people who we send in there don't really come out. So the people who have been in there, they talk about growling and claw marks and things like that. But
Right.
we've never seen anything coming out.
I think we can help you there. We might have met some of them, and we know their weakness.
Okay.
So I don't suppose you have any sort of torches, not electric, but like fire, that we could maybe take with us?
Yeah, if you want. I mean,
That would help.
we can give you chemical torches, all sorts of things if you want.
Right. Yeah, anything that creates fire.
They don't like that very much.
No.
She actually gets up and leaves the table for a moment, and she goes over to it's sort of a section of this room between the kitchen area and the armory area. They share a wall, and in between it is sort of just a large box, and there's coats and things hung up over the top of it. And she opens the box at the bottom and she pulls out these things. It's a stick about a foot long, and on one end of it is a very short yellow pot. It looks like it's made of plastic with a clear, a milky clear plastic lid, and it's got a little sort of ring pull sticking out from under it. And she's like, "There you are, a pair of torches. Just when you need it, just flip off the top and pull the pin." It's a chemical torch. We use them all the time.
Right. And how safe are these?
Well, don't hit yourself in the face with it. It's fine.
Right then. That's lovely. And just in case, don't suppose you've got like a stick or something that we can use? We've got some rope that we can make an end out of, but we quite like a long stick. I don't know, farming tool or.
I mean, I suppose we could sell you the handle of a rake or something if you wanted it. But these things there aren't many trees about. It's a bit of a premium on wood.
Yes. I don't think you want to get too close to these chaps. And like a long pole or something might be quite handy. Of course, we bring it back, so it'll be alone.
Okay, if you want. And she wanders back off to this corner, and she just sort of screw it. Yeah, she picks up what's quite clearly some kind of rake. I mean, it's missing most of its teeth, and the head's sort of broken at one end. One side of the head's broken off, and she just sort of turns to one of the fellas and is just like, "Do you mind?" He clearly doesn't really understand what she's going on about. So she takes a screwdriver off him and takes the head off. Hands you a big stick. Sort of a 4 foot long stick. Here you are.
That's lovely.
Okay. You don't want a knife to tie to it or something, do you?
I've got a knife.
Okay. So
We've got rope.
You've got torches. You've got a stick. You've got your friend over there getting himself sorted out with things. So it's getting on for late. Oh, it's getting on for the afternoon now. Are you sure you don't want to, leave before your friends turn up?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Okay. And she goes and gets Mark. And Mark, with a purposeful, after having a quick talk with him, he sets off to the armory with a purposeful stride, and he comes back with what you can only assume is the biggest, meatiest looking pistol you've ever seen. It's quite a sight to behold. It seems like sort of a scaffolding pole. Yeah, kind of like a scaffolding pole and sort of 3 or 4 baked bean tins, had some kind of bastard love child. It's a big revolving thing. It looks horrible. You wouldn't want to think about the recoil on something this big. But yeah, he comes back with this big meaty looking pistol thing, and a very heavily padded coat with sort of sections of corrugated iron sort of over the tops of the shoulders and on the back and the front. And a very thick padded hat. He's like, so I hear we're going on a bit of a trek.
Yeah.
Looks that way.
So she'll be off.
Right.
We'll grab your chap and off we go.
Right, lead the way.
That I will. And opens the door and he says goodbye to half a dozen people, just quickly, and off you go out the door. Aiden, are you following them, or are you going to doss about in the armory for a bit longer, see if you can see what you can swipe maybe?
It depends on if there is anybody there and they leave me, or
There's a couple of guys in there, but Mark's come in and
What?
he's got them both sort of working on attaching armor to him.
what kind of role do you roll for sleight of hands or?
Sneak. Everything sneaky and thievy is sneaking.
I mean, I could. I have a 4 in it, so.
Don't feel your actions are being dictated by the crunch. You can do whatever you want.
Well, we're gonna test this out. I mean, the worst that could be is that I'll go like, yeah, I'll put it back. Jesus, hold your trousers. So
much.
yeah, it is 14.
14. Okay. While they're talking with Mark, the younger fellow, not the older fellow who you traded with for your screwdriver, and he goes off and he opens up a locker at the back, and it's clearly got a bunch of these armored sort of outfits in, and as he opens it, a pair of armored boots fall out and land on the floor, and he trips on one, sort of kicks it to the side. So he goes to put the big armored coat on Mark.
Yeah. Could
you can swoop over and acquire it if you want.
Yeah. Can I just walk past and lean in a little bit with his fingers and snatch them up, and in a swooping motion, he has to walk past.
Yes. Would remind you at this point that Aiden is wearing a very big coat. You could, and you're not the largest of fellows, so
No, he has a rather great coat,
Yes.
And he's used to do these sort of things. So he picks it up.
Yeah, you managed to swoop some boots. While these guys are equipping and arming this guy, They open a drawer at one of the workbenches, and you see there's an array of sort of small pistol type weapons in there, which they immediately discard. This is clearly not what he's looking for, and he says so quite loudly. And they go to the back and open up the lockbox with this huge monster in. But while they're doing this, they're opening boxes and they're walking around. They're quite distracted. If you wanted to continue on your little shopping spree, you can give me
Is there a like a box that is easy accessible? Could kind of fit into said Aiden's coat, maybe.
The boxes are sort of more like foot lockers and large first aid boxes, attached to walls, rather than small things one could hide in a coat. But most of them aren't locked.
So maybe one of them could easily just be open end, taking content close, you know.
Yeah, you could. Screw it. There are 4 boxes. There's a brown one on the far left on the back along the back wall of this armory. There is a red one directly in front of you. There is a blue one on the wall at the bottom. There is a yellow one immediately above.
Yellow. That's the color of syrup.
Excellent. You go for the syrup one. You open it up, and in here it's not a gun or a knife or anything you really recognise as a weapon as such. It's sort of like a thick grey rubber band with a bunch of vials and a gauge on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a big red button next to the gauge.
Guess that's like a bomb or a grenade or.
You've got medical training. It looks a bit like a blood pressure cuff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not, but that's the sort of form it takes. It's clearly got vials of something, and it's got needles on the inside.
Okay. So he will pocket, and he will then feel his. Depending on how far they have gotten.
I will require another sneak to pocket this.
Oh, god damn it! God damn it!
You are stealing something from a brightly coloured cabinet at your own eye height. So, like, it's not even something you do. Like,
what did you say? Sneak, right?
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, you managed to get this. You managed to quickly like tuck it down the front of your trousers. A guy's turning around. He hears you like flapping the door back up, like popping it back in. And he's like, "Oh, what was that? Did you just what's going on?"
No, I mean, is this what you want? And he pulls out one of the boxes and gives it to him.
You just watch what you're touching. I mean, this is sensitive stuff.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. I thought you wanted this.
You don't want to be rattling this stuff around. I mean, it's. I mean, maybe you should go. Looks like your friends are leaving. Actually, you should,
then I need to go.
With them. I mean,
maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so you make it out of the armory with your ill-gotten gains. But at some point, you're going to have to change your boots in front of Mark without having to without discussing this. All right. So yeah, you've all walked out the portal cabin. There's a small sort of area around it where there's clearly people sort of they mainly sort of live in tents and lean-tos that all attach this main structure. But yeah, you just sort of you're walked to the gate by Mark. He occasionally stops and sort of says, I've taken these out to, and he gives a name, but it doesn't really mean anything to you. He's like
the Garage of Doom, where everyone dies. Sure.
Well, you think he says a road name, but you're not entirely sure. And the reason for that is I can't remember what that road name is. But yeah. People sort of wave you off and go, oh, bloody hell, that one. Okay, fair. Well, it was nice knowing you, Mark. But he doesn't seem overly concerned. Maybe it's an air of invulnerability that comes with wearing a large suit of armor. So yeah, you leave this little settlement without even asking what these people call themselves. You only asked one person's name.
Yeah.
Oh, it's typical. Typical. Yeah, you leave Cassie and Anne to the tender mercies of these people who you appear to trust implicitly. Yeah, Mark walks you down, sort of. He walks you down. Sort of. There's a road, but most of it's covered in sort of collapsed buildings. At some point, there was a very, very, very large building. It must have stood hundreds of meters, at least 100 meters tall. it seems to have fallen sort of flat over this road. As you sort of you patrol as you walk your way down here, you pass you pass by this large building and you continue down towards the seafront, and you can actually see the sea occasionally over the ruins. And you pass a building on your left that appears to just have the instruction "wait" written on it, which seems odd, but don't really pay it much mind. As you head further down, you think you're starting to recognise. I mean, at least Lam and Morgan are starting to recognise this area a little. And it's starting to look quite similar to the area where you were searching around before you met the glowers. And you continue on down, and you start occasionally to think you hear people. And I say people, you start to hear sort of snatches of conversation echoing back to you off the ruins on occasion. Occasionally you smell smoke, sort of thing. And eventually you come up against the barricade. You found the eastern edge of the Wester's barricade as you head down towards the sea. And Mark clearly isn't too comfortable walking down against the barricade. He seems very sketchy about the whole thing. He's really not enjoying this at all. And eventually you come into a small sort of clearing in the rubble. It looks like at some point there was a park or a patch of grass here. I mean, it's now just barren dirt. And there's lots of odd scratches and footprints and marks on this dirt. I mean, if one was knowledgeable about such things, it might tell you a great story of the area. But two of you have never walked on solid ground before yesterday, and Aiden, I doubt you're any great tracker, are you? No, I doubt you've looked up long enough from your tech and toys.
What? Yeah.
So yeah, you walk across this sort of this blasted plain of mud and filth, and you come across a body. And this body, it's of a young man, a very young man, in fact. He can't be much more than 14 or 15, maybe. He's barely got a hair down here, sort of thing. He's got long shaggy hair on the back. He's got barely a brush of moustache about him, and he has a large hole in his chest. And as you draw closer, if you do choose to do so, get any closer to this corpse?
Yeah, I think that Aiden will, at least.
Okay, Aiden, as a concerned medical practitioner, moves closer to the corpse, and as you do, you notice the flesh of his face and chest bulges in odd places. It doesn't look like bruising or protruding bones or anything. It doesn't look like radiation or mutation.
It looked like a larger kind of plague thing.
Give me a perception of some kind, or a medic.
Medic, maybe?
Okay.
I'll go for medic.
Okay.
Well, how about the 12 and 19 all in total?
Okay, yeah, you draw really close. You're giving this a
No, I don't want to get really close, but
you're going to give it a proper medical examination, and you're going to get fantastic results. Yeah, you draw up close to this guy. I mean, you're not touching it yet. You've established some sort of sensible protocol on that one. and you're looking at it from sort of all angles. You pick something up to poke him with, one of these lumps, just to see if it yields
Mm-hmm.
or if it moves or anything like that. And as you're watching, one of the lumps just moves.
Oh, that can't be good.
It moves clear across his face.
Oh. Is it so that there is anything showing inside as a beetle or anything?
It moves across his face sort of from his jawline up to his cheek, and then it passes through the eye, and you just see the eye go black, and afterwards there's just no eyeball there apparently.
Is it so it's more like a maggot worm thing, or is it so that you can kind of see moving parts as legs? Is it moving like a tube thing, or?
It's just dark. It's just you think you catch stripes.
So it has a body with legs moving, or is it more traveling?
I suppose you did get a 19. You briefly glimpse a striped carapace and then it appears to move deeper in.
Oh, well, Aiden is poking and at times giving off like, how fascinating, and pokes it and tries to kind of like a pimple, just push it out and extrude whatever the content is.
Okay, yeah, you start to really manhandle this body, and you start to hear. First of all, you feel it through the ground. You start to feel a sort of hum. And then you notice the body has started to vibrate very gently
On its own?
Yeah, and then you start to hear a hum, a low hum. And
so he will
starts
stand
to
up and
increase slowly.
walk off. Yeah.
Can we feel this through the floor?
If you're close enough. I mean, Aiden is crouching by this thing, poking it with a stick.
So yeah, he will slowly walk away with a very, very slow pace.
Yeah. The body starts to sort of jerk a bit, and before you probably get a handful of meters away before like a cloud of buzzing insects burst from the hole in this thing. They're probably about the size of a man's thumb. Yeah, a big cloud of buzzing, stripy things the size of a man's thumb. They are making a profoundly unhappy buzzing sound, and they form into a cloud about 5 or 10 meters across, and they swoop towards you. And at that point, we shall have a break. So,
run away!
Their lovely break.
Run away!
We shall be back in 10 lovely minutes. Ta-ra! Hello, we're back. We are indeed back, and we're just in time to discover the horrors of combat in this system finally. Because,
are we?
yes, because you've just been attacked by a gigantic swarm of black and yellow buzzing insects.
Oh, them.
Yes.
Kill it with fire.
Yes, that would be great if you had any fire to do it with. So, you have investigated a body. The body has started moving, then buzzing, and then a swarm of buzzing insects has burst out of it and swooped towards you, forming a front about, I think it was 10 meters wide. Huzzah! So, if you don't know, combat in this system basically works on the principle of whoever says they go first goes first.
Yeah, I want to run, please.
Okay. Aiden starts running. So that's Aiden running the hell away.
I put up a card called "Run Like Hell."
You start running, right? What does Lamb do?
Gonna run at them with his big club.
Okay. Start running at them with your big club. And before we resolve that, what is Spanners doing? What are you doing,
Face
Morgan?
palming. Right, so as Lamb is going to run at them, I can't leave them to just die. What have I got? Okay, so I'm going to take the end of one of the ropes that we've got and just kind of swing it in a sort of propeller.
Lasso?
No, I don't want to catch them. I just want to like beat as many of them as I possibly can into submission. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of move forward, but use it almost like a propellery shield.
Okay. Right, Lamb, you run towards the swarm and swing a large stick at them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Get in on CC then. Oh, God.
Gonna re-roll that.
Jesus, really? That bad, is it?
Could be better. Not a botch, but still. That's better. 15.
15. Yeah, you swoosh your enormous club through the swarm. You appear to have hit some. You know, at the downstroke, you know, at the end of your downstroke, like there's some horrible mulch on your stick. Yeah, there appears to be a sort of break in the swarm that closes almost as soon as you've finished swinging. Roll damage.
Ooh, that's not bad. 5, 8, 13.
Whoa. Okay. 13. Yes. You have swung your club through the swarm. The swarm is still there. The swarm is, if anything, angrier than before.
Hooray!
Mark is going to pull out one of the chemical torches that Emil gave you guys. Flip the top off, pull the little tab, and throw it into the swarm. As he does so, a very bright chemical light, like sparks, burst out, and he just throws it on in. And the swarm doesn't appear to like that at all. You know. Oof, that wasn't so great. Yeah, he doesn't get a very good trajectory through the swarm. But, yeah, there's a small sort of burst of fire, and the buzzing seems to sort of diminish somewhat. And you know, more crispy bodies hit the floor, but he only sort of managed to catch like the bottom half of the swarm, and it doesn't appear to have diminished much.
Right.
So you now have a swarm of angry creatures, and they're going to close. Being that Aiden has run, they're going to close on everyone else. So the swarm attacks Lamb.
Surprise.
And somehow just doesn't manage to penetrate his clothing at all. They like swarm over him. It's probably utterly terrifying, but they haven't hurt you yet.
Okay.
They attempt to swarm around the propeller motion of Morgan with far more success. Considering I made the roll far harder, that means a very small success, but far better than they did with the other guy. Right. And they sting like your arms. They sting your arm for 5 damage.
The surprise is bees.
Yes, the surprise is bees. And they attack Mark. They attempt to attack Mark, but he just like falls on the floor and rolls. And as they swarm him, he's just like crushing them. He's definitely not going to be having any fun, but they haven't managed to hurt him. They have in fact botched attacking Mark. So we are back to the top of the order. Aiden,
I'm running.
You're running.
I'm running.
Excellent. You're still running. Your friends behind you are like, "Oh, die, you bastards!" Just like, "Nope, feet don't fail me now." Okay.
I'm out of here. I'm
Okay.
not going to stick around.
Okay. Right. So, who's next? Who wants to do a thing?
Woo.
Lamb.
I
now?
shall. I'm gonna.
You're currently
Take
being
another
swarmed by angry giant radioactive waspy things.
I'm gonna swing around in a 360 and take them as many out as possible.
Okay. I will mention at this point that most of the ones you can reach are on you. And thus spinning around is probably just going to make them a little dizzy.
Oh. I'm going to throw myself to the floor to attempt to squash them.
Aha! Excellent. Obviously this is a writhing mass around you, so I think technically this is a grapple. Because you're attempting to wrangle these things about your person to damage them. So yeah, give me a
Okay.
grapple.
6.
6.
Yep.
Okay. It's a grapple, so it's opposed. Hooray! You have lost a grapple against a swarm of angry wasps. So they get a lovely free attack on you. For God's sake, and they do 5 damage. I keep rolling 1s. Right, so you get stung to buggery by a bunch of wasps. Right. So yes, Mark once again, the hero that he is. He stands up, covered in a mulch of crushed filth and bug remains, and finally he pulls out his very, very large meaty pistol thing, and he clicks it round. It's got its cylinders. It's got 3 big cylinders in a revolving assembly, and he clicks it round to the one that's painted red, and he just points it towards the mass of the swarm and pulls the trigger. And an enormous mass of flame bursts from the end of this pistol. A truly horrendous tide of flame, in fact. Almost entirely in the wrong direction, but very impressive nonetheless. Like the real latecomers, like he managed to immolate the body that these things have all been coming out of, but does very little to the swarm that's actually attacking you. He rolled a 1 to hit. I'm being very generous. So yes, he stands there sort of looking at it, going, "I should really have learned how to shoot." So back to the swarm. The swarm engulfing the swarm engulfing Lamb. Woo! Lands a solid hit. Yep. Oh yeah, I know. They're still grappling. So
We're still
they
grappling.
get to continue grappling.
Wow.
All right, Lamb, roll your opposing grapple. They have a 12.
Okay. Grapple. Oh, for God's sake. Rolled an 8, plus 3, 11.
Okay. So they win.
Yes, by 1.
It's another 5 damage. Do remember you're taking your endurance off of all these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're probably not dead. So yes, and back to Lamb.
What?
We're back to Morgan. Sorry, wrong name.
Okay, so am I being attacked by...
Oh yeah,
The beast
you're
blood or
you're swinging this rope, this big heavy rope at them.
Okay.
And some are swimming around the
And
outside.
they're kind of going around.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to change tack here because they're clearly getting through my shield. So I'm just going to... I'm going to kind of go kung fu with this and kind of swing it in like a figure of 8 and try and hit them with the rope.
Okay, you're going to go full wushu on them.
Yes.
Pull some Jet Li shit. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's an armed CC of some kind. Give me a shot. Why not?
It's a 9.
Yeah, I'll let you hit on a 9. It's a swarm of things that are trying to engulf you. So okay. So
Okay.
yeah, give me your D6 damage with your.
Which
RCC.
means that my D6 damage, we don't have any bonuses on these, do we?
That's your arm CC. You add it all.
Oh, it's my arm CC. Okay, so in which case...
Strength and
8.
arm CC.
No, that can't be right.
Yeah.
11.
Hooray! Yes. So yeah, you swing this goddamn rope through them, just like die, you bastards! And you manage quite sternly to break up this swarm. And it seems that they've finally decided you guys really aren't worth the effort. And they just fly off. The swarm literally just breaks up. Individuals fly off all over the place. So congratulations, you've defeated a hate swarm.
Yay!
By running away, or beating them with a stick. Or a rope. Or just rolling on the floor and crushing them in their thousands. Apparently, when you're getting... I don't think that's really a public service announcement. If you're being attacked by hornets, don't stop, drop, and roll. That's probably a silly idea. But it seemed to work here. So the question is, really, Aiden, when do you stop running?
When I see that they are battling and the swarm ain't coming for Aiden, he's probably stopping, and he will... In the motion they are fighting, he'll take one of the shells and prep it so that it will kind of burst out residue of gunpowder and probably ignite it with fire, so it'll be like a spark gun sort of deal. But he'll probably just get to the point when he's done with it, they're done, so he's like, oh, well, I have one of those done.
Okay. So basically you're going to, like, run to cover, like, prep your gun, then go, oh. And I assume you're going to walk out, like, holding your gun ready for business. Like, yeah, I was, not cowardice, preparedness.
He's probably not shunning the fact he's a little bit of a coward.
Okay.
So he will probably look around the tree or whatever and see that it's calming down, kind of walking out like nothing happened.
Okay. Yeah. Mark's just going to turn around at this point and be like, where the hell were you? That thing would have been really useful.
Looking back at the complete empty forest and looking back at him. Oh, you mean me? I was prepping the gun. You can't shoot flies with bullets.
He wouldn't have come out of the body if you hadn't poked it with a stick.
Well, they wouldn't have attacked if you just ran too. I mean, it's like a bomb. If someone is poking a bomb and that person starts running, everyone else runs too, right?
Don't poke the bomb.
Well, that happens. People poke bombs.
I've never poked a bomb in my life.
And that, dear, was why you're still alive.
It's a treat.
Right.
It's put Mark standing out, he's like trying to brush like mashed wasp remains off of himself. Oh God. Why did I ever agree to take you guys out?
So the only thing I want to say to you guys is, if there is within a couple of hours, I would say maybe 3 or 4 hours, if you feel it's like a itch or something is kind of, itching somewhere, and you see that the finger you have been itching is bloody, ask someone to see if it's an entry of the It could maybe just be a stray one. So be careful that they could kind of enter your body. So we'll have to burn them out.
Right. And you thought this was a good idea to poke them with a stick?
Yeah, but now we know that's a thing.
Right then. So we found this out because you poked them with a stick. I think we need to find this garage, really, don't we?
Mark evidently agrees. He's like, yep, let's get going. He's now like, really like, oh God, what's going on right here? No more of this, keeping this enormous unruly weapon of his like slung. He's now like, he's rotated the cylinder like manually, like to a dull grey canister, and he's holding it ready to fire. Like, oh God, what the hell's going on?
Right, so I think I'm going to follow him, grumbling a little bit, so we don't get this shit at sea.
And as you are walking towards the sea, you do notice the sky overhead is turning like a disconcertingly dark grey. And you recall that there is a heavy storm meant to be coming in tomorrow. A storm to end all storms, if you will. But yes, you're heading in. The air is getting noticeably colder. It's starting to get darker. The evening is wearing on.
So, Mark, is it close, or do we actually need to find shelter before we get there?
It's pretty close. It's just down on the seafront. Take a left.
I don't know.
We'll be there pretty soon.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Right. So yeah, you reach the seafront. Lam, Morgan, this is exactly where you came ashore. It's you've got the crappy broken statue, the sort of the circular meeting of these old paved paths. You're standing at the end of the pier where you arrived ashore. I don't know if you want to go and check if your little stash of metals that you got on the first day is still over there.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea actually, because we've not gathered any more.
Yes. Yeah, you head on behind the sort of the shattered remains of the building at the base of the pier, and you find the remains of like the Ola machine that you ripped apart, and the piping and the cylinders that you ripped out of it, and stuck to the side of it, you actually find some S&Ms at the bottom corner. Some of them have really been like pushed against it for years and years. You just didn't notice them before. You obviously had bigger things on your mind. But yeah, your original little stash of metals is still there. Still probably useless, but you never know. Someone might find something to do with it. And Mark's sort of standing there, rather bemused. Like, well, what are you doing with that? We need to be over there. Come on.
This is our stash, We need to take this bit to the ship. And we've got some repairs, and, so we could use this to, shore it up. But we need some more.
So, wait a minute. I haven't really been to your ship, but is this the metal you're using for fixing the ship is no wonder you are stranded.
We are not stranded. We
Well,
are on a
you're on
reconnaissance
land
mission.
now.
We were left here to gather resources to bring back to the ship, so we can make some repairs and shore it up a little bit, and we don't have to come back here ever.
I don't know.
We just need our stuff, and then we can be on our way.
Right then. It's good enough for you guys. Fair enough.
Well, to the garage, though, I guess.
Yeah. Mark, he leads you down the seafront, past the kinema that you guys looted on your first morning. The domed building, and he leads you down an alleyway just next to it, just past it.
Mm-hmm.
And you head down. It's a fairly wide alleyway. Whatever used to come down here must have been quite large. And down towards there's a very, very large building, a very large warehouse style building with a very high arched roof, sort of pyramidal roof, and it's got big sort of industrial doors on the front. Yeah. Yes. And he says, "This is the place. Just in there. I mean, we don't go any closer than this. So, can I be getting what we've agreed on then?"
So where is this garage?
It's in there.
Oh, right then. Are you not staying?
Oh no! Emil promised me extra rations if I brought you out here, but I'm not going in there.
Oh, I thought, when we met, that you might want to, stick around. I didn't realize I got the wrong impression.
I'm not against sticking around out here, but I'm not going in there.
So, if we went in and maybe brought some stuff out, you'd maybe wait out here for us?
Maybe. If it was safe.
And it looks like a place that could hold what we're looking for.
Oh yeah. Very much.
What's an age cotch?
No idea. It's I know it's written up there, but I don't know. We've heard, people used to look in there and go, that would be a great thing if we could get in there. And over the years, tales came out of there being something in there, and more recently, everyone who's tried to go even past this point, theirs don't come back. So I'll wait out here, and he goes and sits sort of on the outside, the outside cafe area, if you will, of the kinema, and he opens his coat a little and he pulls out a little flask or something or other, screws it open, and some steam comes out, and he has a little drink. And he pours it out into the little lid cup. It appears to be this greyish brown tea that they drink. He knocks it back quick. He goes, afterwards. He goes, oh, it just makes you want a biscuit. Yeah. So.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to take the big stick, which I completely forgot I had, and probably would have been quite useful with the old bees, but never mind. And I'm going to wrap some of the rope around the end. But rather than how we did it before when we knew that they were kind of running towards us, I'm actually going to wind it quite tightly this time and do like a couple of layers. And I'm going to use my fire starter ability to set fire to this and kind of use it like a flaming pole arm.
Okay, yeah, you managed to do that pretty well. I mean, give me a craft to see how well you do it, but you know, it's not rocket science to wrap rope around a stick, but it might be to make it stay there. Especially based on what happened last time.
Sorry, head. Wow, 9.
9. Okay. Yeah, the stick seems a little damp. The rope also is sort of caked with crushed insect. And is a little slippy. You think you might? The first wrapping doesn't seem very tight. You wrap another layer around it. You know, it seems to be holding. It, you know, you wave it around a little. You know, it sort of shifts a little. It slides down the stick a little bit, maybe sort of an inch, but it doesn't go any further. And you're like, oh, good enough. And yeah, you use your fire starter ability to set it ablaze, and a little oily puddle on the ground also catches fire. It spreads slowly and laps up against a wall. But it's a concrete wall, so we're not too worried. And you know, you heft it aloft. You've now got a fiery polearm. Admittedly, a rather odd one. I mean, people tend to use ropes to wrap around things to make the blows softer. But okay. Yes. So you have a softened quarterstaff that's on fire. Right. Anything else anyone wants to do?
Yeah, I think that Aiden will make sure he has the shells where he needs them and loads the boomstick with one shell. And he will, as soon as he gets in the side, he will stop and change boots.
Good choice. Mark's just going to stand there and be like, But he doesn't say anything. I mean, he's a fair distance away. He just sees you sort of messing with your shoes.
No, as soon as he gets into the actual garage or whatever.
Oh, you're going inside before doing that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You've got an alleyway and you've got a large open area, and this garage building is at the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of a large yard where you can maneuver, say, a vehicle around.
I believe then that Aiden is obscured as soon as he gets into the alleyway.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Does all that. So yeah, you've put your boots on. So you've now got 2 glorious points of armor on your legs, which is always handy.
Oh yes.
For when I say you get hit in the legs, and if I don't, then yeah, you haven't got any armor. But, so you put on your boots. The other 2 are probably a little taken aback by the fact you've suddenly got armoured boots, but okay. So, as you stand there, what's Lamb going to do? The other 2 are making, clever preparations and doing things.
I'm just going to walk in the door and just shout, "Hello?"
Okay. So you go to the very, very large door.
Mm-hmm.
You manage to find a way to open it, which was going to be the next thing, but hey. You manage to find somewhere where it's weak, and you manage to push your way through. And you shout into a large, dark warehouse at the coming of dusk in a storm, "Hello!" At this point, you notice that a large portion of the roof of the warehouse has fallen in.
Just as I've said that.
Well, as you look, you poke your head in shouting, and the sound you hear back is is horrible. It's this prolonged, like, screeching cry. You hear an enormous rustling noise. I'm trying not to do any, like, Foley work, like, because Spanners won't hear it, and it seems a bit cruel.
That's fine. Everyone else will hear it.
Yeah, I mean, if one was to really give the game away, it would be a horrific, prolonged cawing noise. And as Salties, you know the sound of a seagull very well.
Mm-hmm.
This is your worst, most fever dream nightmare of a seagull's cry, followed by a rustling that can be clearly heard at the other side of this vehicle yard.
I'm going to back out and slam the door.
There is no slamming the door. You have pushed your way through a hole in this door.
I'm just going to walk backward and go, fuck me, I'm not going in there.
Okay. As you step outside and loudly announce, fuck me, I'm not going in there. A beak and head about 15 feet long burst through the roof of the warehouse.
Does it say quack by any chance?
No, it says caw! An enormous seagull. A seagull to end all seagulls, as it were. A prince of seagulls. Bursts from the roof, and it takes a short run up the interior front of the building, and bursts. Its wings snap out, and it takes to the air over you, and it starts circling, continuing its cry all the time, and a number of slightly smaller cores start to reply to it from other points on the seafront.
So is it within range of, let's say, a boomstick?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, I'll shoot it.
Okay. Give me your big guns.
Oh, yes.
Gonna die.
Nah. It's a stand. We need to do it. How about a 16?
Yeah, 16 will definitely hit an enormous, cawing seagull. It's making no effort to not be hit. It's flying around like, it's as big as it could possibly make itself, circling around above you.
13 damage.
13 damage. Whew. Right, so,
Okay, I've got a plan. Aiden, have you given your morphia to Mark yet?
Say what?
Do you
I
still
can't
have
hear on that air now.
morphia? Do you still have it?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Can I borrow some?
Yeah, sure, I have one.
That'll do. I might be needing a legendary point for this one. Right then. So I'm going to I assume I can grab the morphine from him.
Yeah.
I am going to pour this onto the 4 days worth of dried fish that I still have. I'm going to squish this into a ball, and I am going to lob this into the air so that said seagull tries to catch some morphia-laced dried fish. And hopefully I can knock the fucker out.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. That will.
Would you like me to roll?
Yeah, that will be. I would say, just for the sake of sheer jamminess, that will be a dexterity armed CC. I'm going to give the bonus for hefting heavy things of your armed CC skill.
Okay.
Because it's not a gun. It's never going to be a gun. It's definitely going to be a dexterity based skill.
We'll call that a 15.
We'll call that Yeah, fine. You throw this fish high in the air. The seagull's head snaps around instantly, having seen this fish fly into the air, and it swoops for it. It crits. Yeah, it snacks on this enormous bundle of dried fish. It appears, it throws its head back, it snaps a bit, it lands on a nearby building, and it appears to enjoy its snack. It's now landed on a neighbouring building.
Yeah, Aiden reloads. Yeah, that was Morpheus. Calm.
Yeah.
Give it time.
Lamb. What are you doing, Lamb?
I'm going to go back in the building now that I think that the bird has disappeared from within.
Excellent. Okay. You run inside the building, and we'll come back to you in a minute. Right. Mark's going to pop his head round the corner, just be like, "Bugger me, it's huge!" And he's just going to dive back round. I don't think you're going to see Mark unless you go looking for him. So, the seagull, having finished its snack, is going to like, hop down off the neighbouring building, and it's going to attack the noisy one, the short noisy one. So it's going to sweep down with its enormous terrifying beak towards Aiden. Unfortunately, it's utterly shit and completely spoons it.
That's good.
Its beak smashes into the ground just next to you. It's
Ooh.
kind of like watching, a big digger-mounted pile driver at work. It smashes the concrete next to you and like punches it down like a few feet. Like it's not looking great. And it yanks its head back out the floor and shakes it, looking a little confused, in the way that seagulls do when they manage to smash their beaks into concrete.
Yeah.
It's still not looking happy, and it just like beats its wings and like starts to try to take back off.
Aiden will try to shoot it in the head.
Okay. Before you do that, however, can the two of you who are standing around it take physical endurance saves?
14.
11, but it's rolled.
Okay. Yeah. Morgan is fine. She's basically the gust of its wings like being beaten around, and obviously its flailing wings also. They buff it. They sort of buff it against you, but you manage to hold your ground. Aiden, you just get knocked sprawling by these flailing wings, and obviously the attendant air pressure. You're still completely in control of your faculties. You're just knocked on the ground. She didn't fail that badly. But yeah, you're now laying on the ground. It's attempted to take off. I believe you said you were going to try and shoot it in the head.
Yes. Now from a lower position. It's even better. I guess. I hope. So let's see. Big Rusegun. That'll be 15.
15. Yes, you managed to unload sort of I wouldn't say exactly in the head, but you managed to take a solid chunk out the neck.
That's good.
Yeah, you get a beautiful little cascade of blood down towards you. How much damage do you do?
14.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really chiseling through this bastard. So there we are. Yeah, the seagull looks none too pleased at this at all. It basically gives up on its attempt to sort of, because if you've ever seen a seagull, especially like a large one, like an albatross trying to take flight, they have to get a little run before they can do it, because they're just so big. So yeah, it sort of gets its like 3 waddling steps with its wings flapping around. Then you blow a chunk out of its neck, and it sort of, in the manner of like dinosaurs in every film ever, like its head swings to the side and like smashes through the roof of a nearby building, which now rips another piece of the cinema's roof off. And it turns on, it rounds on you again, and it goes for another peck towards you, Aiden, who are now covered in its blood, which is highly unpleasant.
What else?
Oh, it crits.
Ouch.
So shall a
I can't take endurance.
it's a 13. Yeah, it's a 13 damage.
So the first number in endurance, right?
Yeah.
So you said 13 damage.
Yeah. 1-3.
And is it by any chance like a boot? I can if it's a boot, I can take it.
No, it's not specifically attacking your feet.
No, but I might
swooping down from above and attacking sort of your head and shoulders.
Yeah, but maybe I wanted to attack my boot.
Okay, I will let you take a reflex because you are laying on the ground. I'll let you take a reflex to try and like jam your boot in its face as it tries to kick you, as it tries to bite you.
No.
No. Okay, yeah, you don't get to subtract your boot's armor.
So 13. Oh, that hurts, man. That hurts.
Yes.
Hurts really bad.
Nothing like a Titanic ragdoll to fuck up your day. Yes. It pecks you, and it picks you up and shakes you a bit because obviously seagulls can't chew, so anything too big for it to swallow, it kind of has to rip. It picks up and it sort of shakes you like a terrier with a rat, and when you don't tear, it just lets go.
Yeah.
And you fly off, and you hit a pile of something that's vaguely soft. You don't really want to think about what it is.
Yeah,
Squelches.
Aiden screams, "I don't condone this at all."
Okay. Right. So, at this point, we will cut back to Lamb, who has apparently displayed the better part of... I'm not sure if it's valor, the better part of valor or dedication to the mission, but he's fled to indoors. So, what are you doing indoors, Lamb?
I take it it's quite dark still.
It's pretty dark, yeah. I mean, it's dark. It's getting darker outside as well. There is a large hole in this roof, but it literally just sort of casts a light into one corner.
Right. I am going to use one of those electrical torch things.
Okay, chemical torch.
That's the one. So that I can actually see around and see what's actually in here.
Okay. Yeah, you flip the top off. You pull the thing. You saw Mark do it earlier. You heard Emil describing how to do it. You put the thing, and once again, bright sparks pop out. And it's quite unpleasant to try and look at, but if you hold it sort of to your side or behind you,
yeah,
you get a decent look. What you can see is like twisted metal and bits of wood and paper and card and all sorts fashioned into an enormous nest in one corner.
Right.
With eggs in it, sort of the size of a person. A fully grown adult could fit inside one of these eggs.
Right.
And that's what's on sort of this side. And on the other side, there are two sort of wrecked husks of vehicles.
Right.
And on the far side, right next to the wall, there is a vehicle that is almost intact.
Right.
I mean, the windows are smashed, the panels are rusting, but everything important seems to be there.
Right.
It even still has tyres.
Okay. Okay. I am going to see if I can get into this vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, you head on over to the vehicle. You have to walk across all this open land. It's not very even, but yeah, you sort of muddle across it. You probably get a few like grazes to the lower legs, but you know, you get over there, and yeah, you see this vehicle. You walk around the side. It's a bus. It's parked. The doors on it are open. You know, it's parked in its depot.
Okay.
You know, walk on in. You see immediately before you is the driver's seat. You know, it's the little counter bit is swung out. You know, the driver's seat is right there.
Is there a key in the ignition?
There doesn't appear to be a key. You can't even find an ignition.
Oh.
There appears to be a large red button.
I'll press the red button.
Okay, you press the red button and you hear a sort of coughing noise. And the button, it briefly flashes and then the light dies again. Also, the lights in the inside of the bus flicker on for a moment.
Okay. Press it a couple more times, see if it...
Okay, yeah, you hit it a couple more times. You hear this coughing noise. The first time it's just a single cough. The second time it's two. The next time it's 3 or 4. You know, the lights come on a little longer. The gauges start to ping, and sort of, you know, the needles on them start to sort of move a bit. And then finally, maybe sort of the 6th or 7th time you've hit it, the engine just sort of turns over.
Ooh.
And the lights come on, and the needles all move to, and you know, and at this point, with the lights on, you see written in large letters on the side right here, sort of next to the driver's side window, is, you know, Worthing's first electric bus.
Hey.
And I think it's called the Big Lemon. I can't remember, but and yes, you are now in a vehicle that appears to be powered. The engine is turning over. The lights are on. Some of the gauges look a bit meh, but
okay.
Some of the gauges don't look too happy. But the thing, you know, for all perception, seems to be working.
Okay. Does it have a steering wheel?
Yeah, it's got a steering wheel. It's got a seat. It's got some weird levers and a lot of odd pad things around the bottom that you're not entirely sure how to operate. But you know.
I'll press each one and see what they do on the floor. See if one of them makes it go forward.
Right, well, you press the one on the left, and you're not entirely sure what that did. It moves around a lot. And it's very springy.
Right.
And you press the one next to it, and it's a lot less springy. It's a lot more. It sort of grinds down a bit. But nothing seems to occur.
Okay.
You press the final one, and the engine gets a lot louder.
Right.
You know, it's an electric bus, but it gets louder.
Okay.
You know, you've just sat there revving the newts off of a bus in neutral, basically.
Okay. Is there a lever or something that I can put it into some sort of gear?
Oh, there are a number of levers and buttons and switches.
Anything that clearly says gear or
There's
something?
a thing with numbers on it.
Okay. Is it a lever?
It's a stick with a sort of a roundish bit on the end with numbers on it.
Okay. What's it currently sat next to?
It doesn't seem to be sat next to anything. It just sort of you hit it and it just sort of wobbles from side to side.
Oh. I'm going to try and move it to a different number.
Okay. What number?
1.
Okay. Yeah, You move it over all the way to the left, and you have to push it forward quite hard. And there's this horrible grinding noise.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to want to go there.
But with persistence, can I get it there?
With persistence, there's a horrible, tortured squeal, and then it locks in, and the bus just lurches. It doesn't move forward, but it lurches horribly, and there's this horrible screeching noise. Okay.
I'm gonna push down on the lever, on the lever that revved the engine on the floor.
Yeah. The screeching noise gets louder. The engine gets even louder than that. And now we'll cut back to the people outside. Right. So, Aiden has just smashed into a pile of filthy, rotten detritus and screamed, "I do not condone this!" At this point, you hear a horrific screeching noise from inside the warehouse. A truly horrible noise of a man doing wheel spin with a front-wheel drive bus, apparently, with its handbrake on. Don't know how that works, but apparently it did.
Okay, so with Aiden nearing death, I think, I'm going to try and distract this megalithic seagull by making like a crab and going for its feet. I have my sharp knife, and I'm just going to hurl myself at it and try and cut a leg off.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to let it take a reflex to notice you doing this, but apart from that, go for it. Oh yeah, it completely spooned it. Go for it.
Fair enough. Arm CC?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You think the hacker thing's leg off with a knife? I imagine that's
14.
Yeah, you definitely hit the leg. You definitely hit the leg. I mean, it got a 1 for noticing you were even there. So
marvelous. Right. Let's see if we can cut it. So 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11.
You hack a decent chunk out the side of this thing's leg. I mean, it's in no means happy. I have no idea what noise a seagull makes when it screams in pain, but it makes it, and it's very loud. It attempts to turn on you. At this point, the injured leg, as it tries to place it down as it turns, it tries to step away from you to turn. The injured leg makes a sickening crunch. And this seagull, suddenly goes, from waddling monstrosity to serene sitting seagull with no legs. As they just go and fall sideways. It is now a very angry legless seagull.
But it is a legless seagull. That's the important bit. At which point I'm going to run for Aiden and drag him away from Beak's reach.
Okay. First things first, I want to get a reflex for you to dive out from underneath a megalithic seagull.
Oh, that's 7.
Yeah, you don't dive out from underneath a megalithic seagull. A megalithic seagull, in fact, sort of right or left?
Left, always left.
Okay. The megalithic seagull lands on your left leg. For that's not good. For 4 points of damage. It's unpleasant. I won't lie. And it's a horrible crushing injury, so screw it. Take a point of suffering, which is another 4 damage. At this point, these ones won't be mitigated.
Okay.
But that was only 2. Yeah, you only take 2 unmitigated damage there. But you get a -1 to all rolls now. Hooray! Because you're in horrific agony from having your legs
So
crushed.
can Aiden shoot another
Oh, yes.
shell?
Oh, definitely yes. There is a very, very large, very, very angry, rather dazed seagull with a snapped off leg laying before.
I rolled 12.
A rolled 12. A crit.
No, I rolled.
Oh.
Total. I mean,
Oh,
a total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you totaled a 12. Yeah, you managed to blow a large hole clean through one of its wings that it's sort of flailing around with. This thing has no idea what the hell's going on. It's trying desperately to get away from the things that are now hurting it, because they're hurting it very badly.
Yeah. How about 15 damage?
15 damage. Okay. Yes, the seagull is now looking definitely very unhappy. One of its wings is sort of folded uselessly halfway along, sort of flapping limply. It's got a large bleeding wound in its neck. There's a pool of blood spreading from under it, where one of its legs has basically been snapped off. It's having it's definitely having the worst day of its life. At this point, we will cut back to Lamb.
Okay.
If you can understand.
I'm going to look for something that must be stopping this vehicle from moving.
Lamb, take a pure brute force intelligence check.
10.
Excellent. With that 10, I will allow you to just simply by process of elimination go through all of the instruments at your command, and you have now happened upon the handbrake.
Right.
The other large obvious thing.
I depress the handbrake.
You depress the handbrake. The bus instantly lurches forward at great speed, because you've been sitting here doing like a ferocious wheel spin this whole time.
Okay. Am I in the direction of the doors?
Yes. All the vehicles have been parked facing the doors.
Okay. I'm going to go full speed, smash through the doors.
That wasn't something that was going to be optional. You were definitely going to be propelled forward at great speed and smash through the doors.
Good.
I'm glad that you're willing to do this, but it's happening anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Take a reflex save for me.
Crit.
Left or right?
Left.
Okay. Yep. You smash through the doors, and you see the scene before you. With split-second instinct, you just pull to the left and you smash into the back wall of a building immediately ahead of you. Luckily, you managed to miss the seagull and Morgan and Aidan. You have powered through immediately between them and smashed through I think it's a cafe. Right in front of you. You smashed through the back wall of what I seem to recall is a cafe. Fortunately, you're driving a bus, so it's not going to cause you much problem. The bus will continue going forward. It might not go much further, but it will definitely go through this wall.
Right.
So congratulations, you have joyridden a bus all of about 20 metres. And then smashed it through a wall. Fortunately, you haven't killed either of your friends. But huzzah, we will now cut back to everyone else because you're all back together. Huzzah! A bus smashes through the doors behind you and flies through the gap between you, smashing through the wall in front. The seagull has no idea what the hell is going on at this point, and the bus manages to catch it on the beak, smashing its head to the side.
Excellent. I'm going to take advantage of that.
At this point, the seagull actually rolls onto its intact wing with a rather horrible crunch, freeing Morgan.
Okay.
The force of this bus has rolled this inert bird onto its side.
I'm now going to jump over. I still have my knife because I didn't cut its leg completely off and didn't break it. So therefore, I am going to stop this thing from going near us by stabbing it in the eye. It's fallen over. I can get to its head.
You can't reach its head without climbing over the rest of its body.
It's climb over the rest of its body?
Its whole body, like from the base of its neck to the end of its tail, is blocking off the alleyway that you entered this yard through.
Wow. Okay.
Just stab.
You can stab.
I'll
Or
go for
we
the
can
other
go
leg
down
then.
the other avenue, and I can get Kerone to roll bus damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll bus damage.
Right.
How the hell do I do that?
What we are going to do for this is I will roll this dice. Huzzah! That's a 3. Each and every one of you roll a d12.
Oh crap! 2.
13.
Hey?
It's not with
13,
the reflex.
No. This is just a d12.
A straight D12.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In that case, 9.
Luckily, as we're just studying numbers,
What'd you get,
I rolled an 11.
You rolled an 11. Okay.
Yeah.
So you smash. You have smashed into this bird and smacked into its beak for 23 damage. Which sees it had 21 hit points left. Kills it instantly. So I assume as it was rolling over, its neck crunched or something. But yeah, you a long pained cry echoes out as this thing rolls over onto its side, and then the cry just sinks in volume until it just sort of goes to a gurgle. At which point its wings stop flailing and it just lays there, and it's suddenly rather a somber scene. This large, majestic, beautiful animal
That was going to kill us.
Yeah, it was going to kill you.
Then.
It was going to kill the fuck out of you.
Let's go loot that nest.
I'm going to reverse the bus.
Ooh, okay. You can try.
Yeah. Try and find the reverse gear.
I would point out at this point that the bus itself is probably better salvaged than you're going to find in the rest of the garage.
Yeah, which is why I took it in the first place.
Yeah. And thus, reversing it back into the garage and attempting to load it up with rusty shit is probably not going to be better than attempting to just...
No, I'm just trying to get it out. I'm just trying to get it out of this building first.
Considering the travails it required you to get it into first gear, maybe you should just try to drive it forwards through the building.
Okay. Fine. I shall try that.
Mention again that all the windows on this thing are broken, so you two can just hop into this bus.
Okay. Where's Mark at this point?
Mark is still hiding around the front of the cinema. He wants no part of any of the horrific noises that are happening around here. In fact, if you listen hard, he may be sobbing. Yeah, he's just heard 2 buildings. From what he's heard, basically 2 buildings have just been destroyed. Like, people have been screaming, this horrible noise has been happening. There's been thudding, there's been crunching, there's been rustling, there's been cawing. There's probably been a fair bit of, pained, crying. He's just around there like, oh God, don't let me die.
So Aiden will probably give himself some first aid.
Okay. And Morgan will probably help.
You could crawl over to each other. Oh God! There is a bus between you at this point.
Yeah. So with the roll 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with your roll of 15, you're pretty sure that at least some of your ribs are broken. And you're definitely going to need to do something about your ankles. Both of them. When you hit that pile of stuff, you didn't die from the impact, but your ankles definitely are not happy with you. You can dose yourself up a bit, and sort of, I don't know what you've got to improvise a splint out of. You may just tie your gun to your leg. But yeah, you can use...
Yeah, but there should be some rubble or something from all these...
I'm just saying, there's... The flavour to it is, you managed to figure something out to sort yourself out. But I don't know how many hit points you're going to be getting, so I can't remember how many ranks you've got.
I took 11.
What? Where is your character?
It was 13 damage,
Yeah.
and I have 27 in endurance. I took 2
God,
off.
yeah, you've got 6 ranks, haven't you? Jesus. Yeah, you get to roll. I think it's a D12 plus 2 to see how many health you get back.
A D12.
Yeah. Something like that. It's D12 plus 2 or a D10 plus 4. Can't remember.
On a D12, 9, so 11. So,
Yeah.
then I get it on my back.
Yeah, you get 11 back.
And with that being said, he'll probably use several of the layers of maybe like a t-shirt or something else, wrapping everything up. And look like a bandage monster.
Yeah. Yes. A little bit like a post-apocalyptic zombie.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Put a live one.
Yes. Right, so Morgan, what are you going to do? Having had your left leg crushed by an enormous megalithic seagull.
I'm
And
going
narrowly
to.
missed by a bus.
Yeah, I'm going to try and bandage myself up as well. So let's do some medic. Oh bollocks! I botched. So I'm probably going to get gangrene.
Yeah, I'm going to say on that botch, you get... Oh, screw it. You get to take another level of suffering. Why not? You basically, like, you poke, like, a blunt instrument into your, like, crush wound. Like, what's going on here? And you just do yourself no favours. Unfortunately, I'm still rolling for shit, so you take 1 unmitigated point of damage.
So can Aiden after that try to help out
Yeah.
with let's see, Tenru 17.
Yeah, you take her, like, her large, like, rope-wrapped stick and just, like, push the rope off of it because it was really badly attached. You just grab, like, the end that's not burning, go whoop, and it slides off. And you lash it to her broken, like, her badly broken, crushed leg. Like, here is an amazing splint, and here's the rest of the doctoring I will do for you. I'm not sure what exact doctoring you will do, but
Anything that is needed.
yeah. As I say, just roll your healing dice, your D12, whatever it is, plus 2.
How about a 10?
Nice.
What more hit points I started with?
Yeah.
Full health.
Yes. You feel healthy, but you must recall that your injuries are still there.
Broken leg.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
So you have an entire working
bus.
engine and a bus worth of metal,
Okay.
probably with attendant oil.
I'm going to continue moving forward in the bus.
Yep.
So that I'm out the other side.
Yes, the bus easily rolls through, like, the crappy wood and glass frontage of this cafe. The back wall gave you the most trouble, and you were going very fast when you hit it. Well, you were going a lot faster when you hit it. Yeah, you roll through the front. This building slowly sort of falls down around you as you pull through it, but hey, you're out.
Excellent.
How long is it until they come back for us?
They'll come back for you when you fire a flare into the air.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do next.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to jump out the bus and fire a flare into the air.
Okay, yeah. You fire a flare skyward. You see another one arcing into the air a few minutes later from out at sea. And presumably this will probably be more or less where we end, as the next high tide, Oaty McOatface draws up to the end of the pier.
Where's Aiden going?
Well, that's up to Aiden.
Yeah, we'll probably see that next. or is it continuing on to where we're leaving off? Or
Well, this is unfortunately the sort of the end of the story. It's what does Aiden want to do? I mean, he's been very useful. I dare say the Salties will vouch for him if he wants to join the crew.
yeah, I think that Aiden wants to test out the waters now that he has been stranded inside this trader camp. So he has a huge bucket of syrup, so he'll probably be lasting for a couple of months at least. He understands he needs to dip like a little bit of cloth, and he can kind of go around and suck on that like tobacco.
Fair enough.
So it will be small doses.
Chewing tobacco. I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you in a feat of sort of exuberance over care, you managed to drive the bus down the pier and onto the boat, which is a feat of engineering in and of itself. And yeah, you get out of your still running bus because you're not entirely sure how to turn it off, and you're not entirely sure if you want to, even if you could. And as the bus slowly pulls away from the pier, and you head back out into the the open bosom of the sea, shooting along the English Channel away from the gigantic megastorm. And yeah, you leave the horrible, dark, depressing shores of Orthing behind you, and welcomed slowly and sort of rather cautiously back into the bosom of the crew. Aiden, they don't entirely know what to do with you, but that's nothing new for you.
Yeah,
People you
probably.
left were a bit odd about you.
Yeah,
They recognise that you're useful.
tinkering, medicine. So probably fairly good for any sort of camp, settlement, boat, or what else.
Yeah. And as you head out to sea and the land starts to disappear over the horizon, you realise, crap, you left your stockpile of metal behind on the pier. Damn, your entire first day of salvaging was entirely wasted.
Oh, well.
We got a bus though.
But hey, you did steal a bus. And that is the end of Salt and Thirst. Congratulations, everyone survived.
Just before I left, I put my sketch and stuck it to a sign with my utility knife.
Yeah.
On the sketch, I had sketched Hayden, Jaden, and that lot back up where they were, sort of all looking quite frightened about the fact that we'd seen them, so that when the Westies come out to look at things, they see the picture of them on the signpost. Although, not knowing Lamb's actual skill in sketching, it might just look like stickmen and mean absolutely nothing. But
Yeah.
the thought was there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you do a ridiculously detailed artist rendering. It's perfect in every subtle nuance. You capture them perfectly. You apparently know them better than they know themselves. You even remember their names, and you write them in elegant, elegant calligraphy next to them, which is quite hard to do with charcoal. You absolutely perfectly capture the light and dark of their faces. You manage somehow to differentiate between their skin and hair tones as well, which with black and white is really difficult. But yeah, it is a beautiful picture, and if you had taken this to someone, they probably, even in this horrific cultureless wasteland, would have ascribed it great value. Unfortunately, you left it pinned to a sign and left it, so there we are. and it was your only piece of paper, so you can't even reproduce this for your shipmates. But hey, I always knew lamb was good for something. But yes, that's the end of Salt and Thirst. You've left priceless artwork behind. You've stolen a bus. You've killed a giant seagull. You've massacred a swarm of hornets, and you managed to not deliver the things you promised to either of the two peoples you interacted with. Congratulations. So, yeah, let's wrap this up. We're the Bloodthirsty Puppets. This was Salt and Thirst. I am Thirsty. You can find me at thirsty_BTP on Twitter. You can find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk, and down to Kerone.
Hi, I'm Kerone. You can find me at Kerone_BTP at Twitters. You can also find information about Betrayed, which is my new short film, at jqs.org.uk. I very much enjoyed this this little 3-shot. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was particularly this session was really a lot of fun, and yeah, I look forward to hopefully at some point playing Assault Gypsies once again.
Okay. And Spanners.
Yeah, I loved playing. So I knew I was going to like playing pirates, but that was way better than I expected. Never thought I'd encounter a giant seagull, but there you go. But then I equally never thought I would try and sell other women or kill somebody with an S&M.
Yeah.
Well, you know, not on purpose. Yeah, that was just brilliant. And I'm kind of hoping I get to reincarnate Morgan or bring her back in that one. And yeah, that accent needs to travel a bit more. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter at spanners_BTP, where I am currently spamming apps. And yeah, and here on Mondays.
Okay. And Mr. Skag.
Yeah, it was really fun and strange. Always nice to do games where you can go out and do stuff that is not considered the box. So it's always fun to laugh and have a good time. And in about 30 minutes, I'm going to do a classic D&D game on my channel, which is on Skaggeth. And see you guys next time when we interact and do fun stuff.
Yes. So yeah, we shall. I believe it's back to programming as normal next Monday. So we shall be back in the desolation, being nuclear badasses, or at least I will. Rupert is clearly the ultimate badass. So yeah, cheerio, have a good one, and ta-ra.
Put in hard.
Oh, do you think
that was
I
brilliant.
didn't write anything for that?
No, that was amazing.
It's brilliant.
That
Really
just
enjoyed
flowed
that.
so well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad someone thought so, because I thought I'd completely dick that up.
No,
No.
not at all.
No way.
That was by far the best session of the 3.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Excellent. Right then. And we're out.
Woo.